Greetings and welcome to this holiday special episode of Cooking with Bear, episode whatever, cause it doesn't count. If the thumbnail and the title hasn't spoiled it already, in today's episode I will be creating something worthy of the great war machine of the Prussian army. The great construction of holiday tradition of making a gingerbread item to surpass the technology of all inferior countries surrounding Prussia. Machines created by the Prussians to defend the fatherland from all these inferior countries surrounding it. Or to translate it in English, I'll be making gingerbread things. Starting on this side, surprisingly, we're gonna put it on hot, on the pan, 250 grams of butter, 1 glass of sugar, and 7 spoons of honey, or golden syrup. On the mixing side, we'll be adding 600 grams of flour, 2 teaspoons of soda, and 5 teaspoons of gingerbread mix. So you put it on a small hob and mix it until the sugar and the butter completely dissolves. I do recommend personally using like a wooden utensil so it doesn't stick too much to the bottom of the pan, but I'm using a metal spoon because I'm a professional cook and I know what I'm doing, and I'm definitely not gonna burn this pan again. Top hint: stick the spoon into the butter and use the butter as a mixing tool because honey is thick as fuck. As this is dissolving, let's go back into the mixing corner, and I already added the 600 grams of flour, the 2 tablespoons of soda, and 5 tablespoons of gingerbread spice mix. And now we're waiting for the other thing to dissolve before we can add it into the bowl, and honestly finish it already. That was fast. This is not going fast. After the mixture has fully dissolved, let it cool for a moment and then pour it into the bowl of mixing. After pouring the mixture into the other mixture in the bowl, you should just take the spoon and slightly fold it so the flour gets on top and below the mixture as well, before you start mixing, that is. Otherwise, too many air bubbles may actually get inside the mixture, which will make for a less stable construction material for your war machines. When your mixture is about this consistency, start mixing it with a mixer. I'm not gonna be showing the mixing because it's loud and I don't wanna edit it out. By the way, if your mixture is becoming too runny, you can add more flour. If it's too stiff and too crumbly, you add honey. And you balance it until you have the perfect mixture. Since the mixture actually looks good now, and is probably mixed, I'll be placing this entire thing onto this board that I'm gonna sprinkle with flour beforehand. So I got a little bit sidetracked and already did everything, but basically what you do, you get the dough, use a pin to roll it into around 4 to 5 millimeters. Then you bake it for 12 minutes in an oven on 180 degrees Celsius. You have to be very careful until the side starts slightly browning, because it takes literally seconds to burn something. So really be careful with that. And as you can see, it's a pile of things. I cannot really tell you what it is, although you can just look at the title again. But I have to wait until tomorrow for that, because I got really sidetracked and I also had lessons before that, which means I'm very tired and I cannot continue. Well, honestly, this is day 2 already, and I didn't want to record too much, so on and so forth. Basically, what I've done is put sugar on a pan on a very low heat until it melts to make this caramel. Honestly, a warning, melted sugar is very hot and it will burn your fingers. Don't ask me how I know. And how do you actually glue things together, because I know someone will probably be asking it. If you didn't, then you did not pay enough attention to know that I don't care about what you know or you don't know. Let's say I want to glue like this thing with this thing. I actually broke it, no big deal. Actually better with this thing. How do I do this? Well, you just carefully place it into the molten sugar and then keep it in one place. Sugar does stabilize very fast, so be careful, because in most situations you will not be able to glue it back off. So there you go, I made a stop sign. But I did say that I have to create the perfect tradition, that is, the weapon superiority against the enemies of the fatherland. That's why over here you have the drawings of the perfect vehicle that sucks. That's why I created the exact replica of how much it sucks in real life. The Gingerbread Ferdinand. Peanut butter launching 128mm cannon. Rainbow tracks for the perfect not straight going forward. Transmission that specializes in existing. 8mm of tough gingerbread armor. And last but not least, ginger-proof. I have an idea. Just made a vehicle towed Soviet mortar. This is kind of the thing about gingerbread. You can really make whatever the hell you actually want. There aren't any limitations. But I did mention it earlier, and I don't know if I'm gonna put it before that mention or afterwards. After you have to bake the gingerbread in 180 degrees for around 12 minutes. I already mentioned that earlier, I'm sure of that. But if your shape is not correct after you cut it and cooked it, baked it, and you removed it from the tray, you can still cut parts of it to go back into shape. Some information is that it solidifies after around 2 or 3 minutes out of the heat, which means something like this cannot be corrected. Come on, focus. You get the point. Something like this will not be corrected. Will not be correctable. It literally breaks. Which means after you finish baking it, you have to remove it, let it cool for a moment, and in the cooling period, you have just enough time to correct the shape, or slightly bend it into the position you want it. It's very crucial for this to happen because otherwise the shape might be just slightly off and you may not actually be able to connect it. As you can see, in some places I did do that, but I put that on the fact that I didn't know how to do it to begin with. Well, I made a small diorama out of the tank that I created, and another one that I still don't know what it is. But because I waited for this long and the humidity that was happening recently around here, you can already see the decay of the gingerbread that just doesn't want to keep their shape. I tried saving it with some picks, but I don't think that's helping at all. Over here you can see a 120mm howitzer. I don't know why I made it. And as I said, this tank, I have no clue what I made. I made something. There's a house for scale. Don't know if that's realistic or not. And this little chunky boy. I'm very thankful that you actually went through and watched the entire video. I don't care if you subscribe or like or dislike or anything. I just enjoy the fact that you came here to watch me do something I actually wanted to do for a while. I know this year hasn't been the best in many situations. I don't want to say anything because, you know, and a lot of people have been going through a lot of bad times as well. I hope that me making this actually allows you to keep your mind out of the situation. Thank you for coming and watching this. I'm very thankful about you being here and watching all this. I hope I made your day or the week slightly better than what it used to be. And honestly, happy holidays and probably happy new year.